This is the marvel of the mangrove forests.
Greetings. We are the Mangrove Men, and today we will take you into the heart of a mangrove forest. Right now, we are completely surrounded by mangrove trees.
This estuary is actually super interesting as well because there isn't just one or two types, but actually three different types of mangroves living in this forest. As you can see all around us, there's red, black, and white mangroves.
These trees are unique in many ways, but the most interesting is that they don't need rainwater to survive. In fact, these are some of the only trees in the world that use salt water as their main source of water.
They also exist in very anoxic soils with really low DO levels or dissolved oxygen. This is mainly due to constant submergence of saltwater as well as a high demand of oxygen in the soil due to all the organic matter. So, how do mangroves live in these harsh conditions?
Mangroves have different salt excretion mechanisms species to species. Red mangroves are both salt excluders and excretors. They have selectively permeable roots that keep most of the salt from entering the tree at all. The salt that does enter the tree is going to be sent to sacrificial leaves that will drop when they're fully filled with salt. The black mangroves are primarily salt excretors, and they use also a little bit of a specialized root system. They excrete salt through all of their leaves. White mangroves are entirely salt excretors, and they have unique salt glands found at the base of their leaves. Mangroves are famous for their roots. They use a rooting system called stilts, which support the tree's structure as well as capture oxygen from the atmosphere to make up for the lack of oxygen available in the soil. Mangroves are very vulnerable to extreme changes in water level because they will die if their roots are fully submerged for too long. The scientific name for the mangrove is Rhizophora mangel, which comes from the Greek words rhizo and phora, which mean root and to carry. One very important compound that the roots carry is O2. So while the roots are essential above water for the survival of the trees, they are also creating an abundant rhizosphere in the submerged and otherwise anaerobic sediment below. From the encrusted barnacle lines in this picture, you can get an idea of the tolerable changes in water level throughout the year in a mangrove forest.
While the mangrove has all of these unique abilities to survive on its own, it also does a lot for the environment and the ecosystem as well. Obviously, you can see here that the flow is going through the mangroves, and it actually filters a lot of nutrients, heavy metals, chemicals, all of the above. So I kind of want to just take you through that and kind of show you how powerful these mangroves actually are. In this dirty, dirty water, we have several different types of nutrients, including nitrates, magnesium, ferric iron, and many more, along with other various of chemicals. As the water flows through the roots of the mangrove forest, a lot of the energy is dissipated. This slows down the water, allowing for many of the nutrients and chemicals in the water to settle to the ground. In the soil, there are two different types of zones, an anaerobic and an aerobic. Due to the high dissolved oxygen demand in the aerobic zone, it is very thin. In the anaerobic zone, several of the nutrients just mentioned above are used in electron acceptors and bacterial anaerobic respiration. This demand for those nutrients creates a downward flux, seen in that first arrow on the left, pulling the nutrients from the water column into the soil. When nutrients are reduced during this anaerobic respiration process, just how nitrates are reduced into N2, they accumulate in the soil, which creates an upwards flux, as you see on the arrow to the right.
Meanwhile, there is also filtration occurring in the water column. As the flow moves through the root system, it loses energy and the heavier particles begin to settle to the bottom. This process is called sedimentation. Because the mangrove root system is so dense and long, many of the finer particles will also settle to the bottom. Pollutants such as phosphorus and organic chemicals that are adsorbed to clay particles will be left on the floor of the mangrove forest. The mangrove root system is therefore a sink for sediment, phosphorus, and organic chemicals.
This area introduces a flux of reduced and oxidized compounds in and out of the area around the plant's roots. Let's take a look at ammonium, for example. Chemolithotrophs use processes such as iron reduction, magnesium reduction, as well as denitrification in the soil. This causes a large accumulation of ammonium, which is the byproduct of anaerobic respiration. The rhizosphere that the mangroves create oxidizes the ammonium that is present in the soil, introducing the nitrification process. The nitrate produced is uptaken by plants or is used in the denitrification process outside of the rhizosphere. This process introduces ammonium by increasing the soil's DN capabilities. DN refers to the amount of denitrification that occurs where the source of nitrogen is the ammonium in the soil. While ammonium fluxes are often studied, other chemicals like iron and magnesium undergo the exact same process and are oxidized in the rhizosphere. These interactions that mangrove trees have with the sediment play a huge role in the sediment treatment and ultimately in the diversity that the mangrove trees are known for.
We just showed you how the mangrove system is extremely efficient at denitrification. The efficiency is driven by the extremely anoxic conditions in the soil, as well as the accumulation of organic matter in the root system. We also saw how the sediment at the floor of mangrove forests serves as a huge phosphorus sink, as well as a sink for organic chemicals.
Mangrove forests are also huge carbon sinks. They're actually 10 times more efficient at sequestering carbon than tropical forests. On top of that, mangrove forests are really good at reducing coastal erosion, as well as promoting biodiversity. What can't they do?